In today's video, we are going to be breaking down Derrian Ford and his basketball shooting form. This was a video that was requested by a couple of different subscribers, so let's get down and let's check out his shooting form. He's actually a very good shooter. Really quickly, if you want to be able to shoot the basketball better, make sure to go check out the shooting guide down in the description below called the Hardest Basketball Shooting Workout. Okay, so Derrian Ford is a left-handed shooter, and there are a few things that we really want to get out of the way really quickly. To have an accurate shot, you need to get your shoulder and elbow in line with the rim. Next, what you need to have is the ball, at least half of it over top of the upper arm or shoulder, and that will allow you to have what I call the shooting triangle, which allows you to have essentially perfect aim. When he releases the ball, we can see way up top that he releases with his middle as well as his pointer finger. That is a split finger grip that, of course, you would like to have, and he has zero thumb flick. When he releases that ball, he doesn't totally straighten his elbow, which is kind of interesting, but it does end up above his forehead. So that should give him a lot of arc. Now, one thing that we do notice is that he doesn't have a ton of spin. As we can see here, that's one full rotation and a half before it hits the rim or goes in, and that was a three-point shot. So 1.5 rotations is, generally speaking, a low amount. You want to have 2.5 or more rotations on average. Now, when he is shooting the ball, in this case right here, you want to generally have about 42 to 47 degrees. He generally has, in most cases, a little bit more than that, which is kind of interesting how it always goes in. If that ball does tend to hit the rim, however, being over 47 degrees coming down from its arc means that if it hits the rim, there's a higher probability of it bouncing out. However, as we can see from this clip right here, he goes straight up into his shot. He has, generally speaking, a pretty balanced shot with his shoulders almost over top of his knees, over top of his toes. And he has a very high set point, which allows the ball to be blocked at a very low amount. It's really hard to block somebody with a high set point. A lot of his shots do come off of him going towards the right side, which makes sense because he's a left-handed shooter, and left-handed shooters generally do better going towards their right side. The reason being is because by going towards their right side, their left side is in line faster, which makes it even harder to block. When he does go towards the left side, if he can get a little bit of a shot fake first so that he steps in with his left foot, he's doing quite well and can hit those shots as well. He also has a very soft release, which should give him more arc and does actually give him quite a bit of arc. We can also see that when he's going up for a shot, he's still on his way up in his shot when he releases that ball. This is a one motion shot. He doesn't freeze too long at his forehead, but he does freeze long enough for many coaches to say that it is a two motion shot. If we actually count it by frame, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames before he starts going into his release, which is long enough for us to say that it is truly a two motion shot. But he brings the ball up early before he extends his body. Now that tells me that there is not a ton of energy transfer into the ball, but because there is a release while he's still going up into his shot, that tells me that he's getting at least a good amount of power from his lower back and legs to go into that shot. He also has a pretty good floater as well. However, he does tend to hit with these floaters the back of the rim. Now that can change, and most likely is due to the higher arc that I was mentioning before. We can also see from this clip that he has a massive tilt away from the basket, which allows him to get his shoulder and elbow in line with the rim. Now, a lot of coaches will say you don't want to be tilting your body, you want to be squared up with the rim. And while that it can be true, if you can get your elbow and shoulder in line with the rim, If you can't when you're squared up, which let's say you've got a lot of muscle in your chest or you just don't have the flexibility to do so, then being tilted away is a smart idea. But if you're tilted away, you have to make sure that everything is also tilted with you. So for example, here, the feet, the knees, the hips, the shoulders are all tilted in the same direction. We don't have one knee being forward, one side being out, and foot being sideways, a hip being somewhere, and whatever else. No, everything's in line, and that is good. That's what you want to see in your shot. If you've got your body somewhere like this and your hips are pointed this way and your shoulders are pointed this way and you're trying to shoot this way, that's just not a very balanced shot, and it's not a very accurate shot because it's not a shot that can be basically done over and over and over again the same way. You're always going to be out of line. So you want to be in line, but you don't necessarily have to be squared to the rim. All you need is your shoulder, your elbow, and the ball essentially on the same plane towards the basket, and at that point you just have to play with distance. If the shot's too far, then you need more arc. If your shot's too short, you need more lower back and legs. And that is the biggest tip for the day. So make sure to go check out the hardest basketball shooting workout down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time. Hit that like button and subscribe.